Hey fellow Vault Wearers, it's Angry Turtle, and today I'm going to cover 5 things I would love to see added to Fallout 76, and you will let me know if you share my opinions, and I was asked so often about those. Then finally, I'm making a video related to that. And first, the most important for me, and what I would love to see the most, new boss. The Mega Turtle, the Ogwa. If you do not know, Bethesda like to add creatures related to existing cryptids in our actual world. I mean, I don't mean real ones, but what we have in our legends, in regional stories. And as you know, Fallout 76 is happening in Appalachia, and Appalachia happened to have Ogwa. And according to Wikipedia, it's a turtle-like creature's mix of snapping turtle and alligator, weight of about 500 pounds, and can have like 2 heads, what's really cool. And imagine this creature mutated by radiation to like 100 times bigger size, 50,000 pounds of weight, super mega boss, the hardest on the map. If you want something like that, please subscribe to this channel. And I have absolutely no clue how this will help, but please try anyway. And what I would like to have from this boss, apart from looking cool, I would love it to be the hardest boss in Appalachia. The hardest boss. And I will not cover everything, but some idea about boss fight mechanics. Whatever activation for this boss fight Bethesda will go for, I'm fine with it. I'm not really picky about this part. And to make him a little bit unique mechanics into the combat, I love one of the suggestions from our community, Turtle community, that he will, whenever he drops 25% in health, he will hide inside his shell, making him invulnerable for about a minute, and during this time, you will have like a wave defense. The mass of Mirelux, queens, kings, and so on will attack from all the sides, and you need to defeat them, and then back to fighting the boss. And when he drops another 25% in health, again, repeat the wave defense, but more creatures and higher level. That will be unique by itself, because usually we need to fight both boss and his spawn simultaneously. This will be a nice distinction, swap between one and the other. On top of that, he can have some unique attack like lash forward to attack someone who's actually a little bit behind the frontline tanks and hitting everyone on his way. He can have like a tail swing, doing massive damage and knockback, and so on and so forth. If Bethesda would really like to implement anything like that, I'm always happy to help. If they want to ask me how it will work, if I have any suggestion, I'm always happy to help. I can even run all the suggestions through our Turtle community, Turtle Discord to improve them. If they would only like free help, I'm always up for it. But enough about the new boss that I would love to see. Let's go over other changes. As you know, currently we have this legendary crafting, but it's more like still legendary gambling. What I would love in here, if Bethesda could add an option to, instead of rerolling everything, I mean very expensive option. As you can see, we already have this currency, legendary cores. You can accumulate them when you do events, and eventually you can even have quite a lot of those. But what I would love to do, instead of using legendary modules to be additional option, by just using legendary cores to allow you to choose effect, whatever you want, like choose first star, and if I click on that, I would like to see a list of all the possible prefixes, choose one of those, and I do understand it cannot be cheap, it's supposed to be very end game, then I'm suggesting 500 legendary cores to choose effect you want, and you'll be able to choose it once per weapon. I do understand there should be limitations, then I'm calling it once per weapon, 500 cores. And as you know, cores are actually possible to accumulate quite in numbers by just constantly doing events, what will be really good for endgame players. On top of that, I would like to utilize this core currency even more, and that's my third suggestion on the list, to make the cores actually valuable. What will push more players into doing events, as it will be insane value. You will need insane amount to modify one of your legendary effects if you want to, but you will have another option to use those cores to improve your stats. That's my suggestion. Like when you have special stats, I'm not saying about changing that, but give you additional option for really small incremental improvements to your character, not related to combat. I'm saying it clearly here. Nothing into tankiness of your character, nothing into damage dealt by your character, but rather utility, like 500 legendary cores to upgrade utility once. Then I want it to be incredibly expensive. I want it to be something for very late game players, something to show off that, look, I upgraded it 3 or 4 times. And everyone can see it. Look at me, I'm playing, I'm really dedicated, I have those upgrades. And upgrades can be like, for example, improve carry weight by 1% per upgrade. Improve jump height by 1% per 500 cores. Improve the total speed, and this will need to go above the cap of current total speed, 1% per 500 cores, and so on. There can be much more, but I want it to be utility focus, not the combat focus. Something that you can go without quite easily, but in the same time, something you will be able to show to your friends and be proud of. My next improvement, number 4 on the list. You know that we have scrap box and stash box, but what is missing? You probably know you can have 5 characters and there are items that you cannot move between them. Like for example, I'm on my heavy gunner, let's say my other character is a shotgunner and I have this shotgun. What can I do? Nothing. This shotgun, even though it's great, it's permanently stuck on my heavy gunner character. How to move it if I want to use it on other? I cannot. Therefore, I would love to see like a smaller stash box, small 100-pound stash box that will be shared in between all your characters on your account. All 5 of them will have access to it. What would result in me being able to put this shotgun into this shared stash and then pick it up on my other character that actually need it. It's small improvement, but I think it's go a long way into improving quality of life. Especially that we can have those 5 characters, but we are really artificially limited in using them. And finally, number 5. As you know, at this moment we can play on adventure, we can play on private adventure, we can play on Fallout Worlds. This one is available for everyone and is rotating. Like now, it's a Dweller Must Die. Quite cool idea. It's a really cool world, but progression do not carry over. And usually quite empty servers. I have a proof for that. I have incredibly long friend list. Let's take a look. How many players is at this moment on the custom world? Okay, still looking. 0 so far. Some private and some adventure. 0, 0, 0. Still 0. 0. Out of almost 100 players that is currently online, 0 of them is using any type of the world. Any type of the Fallout Worlds, custom or Dweller Must Die. No one in there. Why is that? Because progression do not carry over. Those custom worlds that come from Fallout first are great for testing purposes. I love them. But still, this is not really used for anything. What I would like instead of that, that's my 5th suggestion. New Game Plus. And what I mean by that? You will go into New Game Plus. That will be a new server. Similar situation like in here, creating copy of your character but with some exceptions. All your quest progress will be reset to 0. You will spawn inside Vault 76 like when you start the game for the first time. You will lose all your equipment, but you will keep your level and your perks. You lose everything that you had in your stash box. It will be fresh start. But you will have your level and the world will be harder, like Dweller Must Die. Those settings are quite good for the difficulty purposes. I'm not saying to keep the weather, because after you play for a longer time, Dark Book will get quite heavy on you. But keep the difficulty nuclear, equipment durability strong, damage deal high. That's quite simple modification by itself. It's already working great to have a challenging world. And what I would like it to do, it'd be a true New Game Plus. You will still do all the challenges. Your progress in regards to your levels will carry over to your adventure character. Therefore, you will not be losing time in there. It can be like a slight bonus to legendary drops, because it's harder. Then I would give some bonus to legendary modules drops, to legendary cores drops. Stuff like that will be increased, as it should be, because you will be starting with no equipment whatsoever. And this will be actually a game mode that you want to play. Go on a challenge, take your 1000 levels character to face enemies that are actually beefed up, and you will not be able to use your overpowered legacy, as you will be starting with 0 gear, and you will be able to only obtain the gear that is currently in the game. Plus, I will add additional rule for this New Game Plus hardcore mode, that if Bethesda in any patches in the future will decide to do any type of rebalancing, it will go for this server only retrospectively, which means there will be no legacy items. If some item will be changed or removed from drops, it will be simultaneously removed completely, even if you have it, from increased hardcore New Game Plus servers. Therefore, it will be always balanced, always difficult, always a challenge, but it will be rewarding you with higher drops. What do you guys think about that? That's how I see it implemented, and something that I would personally really like to play. And those are my top 5 improvements I would love to see. Of course, those improvements do not include stuff that Bethesda already announced and is already coming in QL patch that we are getting in December, or in the patches next year, stuff like area looting, expeditions, and so on. What was already announced, I didn't include here. I include here only stuff that was never mentioned, and I would love to see. If you share my opinion, please let me know about it in the comments. If you like my opinions, please try to share video. And for the Bethesda, if anyone is watching, I do always offer free help. Like, if you need ideas, if you need any consultation, if you need to run something through community to ask the question, I can do it for free, because I love the game. And I would love to see it thrive and grow into the future. That's why I'm doing that. That's the main reason. And now, as always, thank you lots for watching, and see you all in the next one.